Hey there, On Trackers. Scott Graves here. That's me from the On Track Music Guitar School. And we've been doing some blues stuff. We spent a good time in the last video. It was a long video explaining the difference between the swing feel and the straight feel. Now we're going to do a few examples of this and some playing so that you can play along to some swing feels and get the idea of what's going on. Okay? I'll share the screen here from the curriculum for just a second. Whoops, I got to push share. Okay, so on your curriculum it says try playing the following shuffle moves with a swing feel, and this first one is it's the standard E move that we did with a 5-chord turnaround. Okay, we've done this earlier, but now we're going to swing it. Okay, and just as a reminder, we're going to have 4 bars of E with that standard shuffle move, 2 bars of A, 2 bars of E, and then on our B we're not going to do the shuffle move. We're going to do the regular move where we just hit the chord. We're going to do it with a swing feel instead of a straight feel. And then on the 5-chord move at the end, we're just going to stay again at the on the turnaround with a power chord, and it's going to be a swung, or that's what it's going to sound like at the end. Okay. Now I am going to just move into the Guitar Pro version of this, so let me just share that with you so that we can play along with this. Okay, so this is what we're looking at right here. It says swing feel in E using basic shuffle move. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave my my photo on this, or the video of me playing, big like it is. You can see that I can make it smaller, but I'm going to leave it big so that you can see what's going on with me playing. And this this move right here, it's going to cover up these 2 bars, but that's just a shuffle on an E right there. Actually, maybe I'll leave it how it is right now, because it might jump up when we get down to this bottom line. It might jump up and block this out. So I'll leave it how it is right now, and we'll just see what we do here. You should know how to do this. I'll try and kind of stay in your window so that you can see it, even though it's small. But we're going to do a swing feel with this, so it's going to feel a little bit different, okay, than it did when we did the straight shuffle. So here we go. Count to 4, and then we'll begin boogie shuffle, or not boogie shuffle, but swung shuffle. Okay, key of open E. Now I go to the A. Back to the E, B, A, E, B. Repeat that. Here's the A. Back to the E, B, A, E. Okay, again, just ended on an E, so you kind of see what was going on there. So, not bad at all. Okay, now I would switch back to the curriculum and show you that the next one's the alternate shuffle and A move, but I might as well just stay in Guitar Pro, because the next one is the alternate shuffle and A move. Okay, so this is now our alternate shuffle in the key of A. We're going to do it with a swing feel, and this is going to be all open chords. Okay, remember in the key of A, when we do our alternate, or when we do our open chord shuffles in the key of A, we've got the open A, the open D, and the open E is our 5-chord. Okay, and the alternate shuffle is the one where we put the pinky down. Okay, and now we're swinging it instead of the straight 8 feel like we did in the beginning. That's what we did with the straight feel, and when we swing it, that's what it's going to sound like, okay? So swing feel in A using that alternate shuffle move. I think I'll leave the screen a little bit bigger on this one, and we'll just see what happens. It might block out a couple of the chords for you. If it does, I'll just call out what they are. So we're going to start here on this A. Get ready on the A. Here we go. Just remaining on that A. Going to the D. Back to A. E. D. A. It's going to go to an E here. Then back to A at the start. Then the D. Back to the A. And then the E. D. A. Then it's going to go to the E. End it on A. So that one kind of blocked out that E when it did the 5-chord turnaround, but you know that's a 5-chord turnaround at this point. So if you need to practice these, go back and practice them, okay? I'm going to go back to the curriculum for just a second here. Share that. Okay, so now we're going to look at the vamp, playing this vamp with the swing feel. So here's that same open chord vamp that we had, the last vamp that I did from the vamping section. This is the one that lasts 2 measures, okay? And you're going to have twice on the move on the A, and then once on the move on the D7, and then once on the move on the A, and then it's going to go 5-chord, 4-chord, and then once on the move on the A. That takes up 2 bars. So when I swing this, without the swing, it was... With the swing, it's... It's a little bit hard to tell the difference without that beat going on it, but it will make a difference, okay? Like I said, if you're doing the non-swing versus the swing, it's not gonna sync up quite right, okay? And we'll really sync it in when we go to the drum beat. So let's go ahead and jump over to Guitar Pro for this one so that we can hear the track on it. Let me share my Guitar Pro screen with you. Here it is. Okay, so this is open chord vamp in A with the swing feel, and I'm going to reduce the size of the window here so that we can see this just a little bit cleaner. It'll probably jump around when it repeats, but we'll do what we can. Okay, here it comes. To the top, A. Another one. D. A. E. D. A. There you have it. The vamp with the swing feel, okay? So, a lot of good information so far in this stuff. I know this swing feel stuff took some time to get through the explanations and stuff, but really important, okay? Make sure you practice those. Make sure the track is loud enough that you're hearing it. Sometimes people practice to the tracks and they'll come into their lesson and they're like off, and they're at home. When they're at home, they're not practicing loud enough to the track, and so they can't tell whether they're on or off with their track, and they think they're doing it right, but they're not. So, and then I'll just turn the track up a little and they'll go, oh wow, now I hear that. So make sure you practice nice and loud to those tracks when you do these things. I am going to share my screen with you one more time just to wrap things up. So we have now done completed that swing feel stuff. So this is the kind of the wrap up for blues unit number 2. Okay, so points for review for the whole blues unit, for everything that we've covered in this unit. Couple things we remembered. You want to make sure you understand. It's a chord letter name followed by a number 7 is called a dominant 7th chord. Okay, so if I've got an A, it's an A chord, or a D if it's a D chord. But if I have an A7, that's technically a dominant 7. And I can just say it as A7 or D7, but I can also say A dominant 7th or D dominant 7. And that dominant 7th chord has a particularly bluesy sound that's great for vamping, right? And vamping is a term that's used to describe an improvised rhythm that a player uses to play over a chord progression. There's no really set rhythm for a vamp pattern. Remember I told you in that first video about vamping, it's if someone says vamp on an A, that means play an A and make it sound good. Okay, so that's what it means. Okay. Now we also studied some open dominant 7th chord shapes for the keys of E and A, and those open chord shapes we know are for the key of E, we've got E7, A7, and B7. And then for the key of A, we've got A7, D7, and E7. So there are 4 chords. 2 of them are in common between both of those keys, okay? I want to be really up on those. We learned an alternate shuffle move, okay? The alternate shuffle, that one where you put your pinky down on beat 3 in between the 2 back beats of 2 and 4. You put that pinky down. So that's kind of a cool move that we can use for open chords, okay? And we learned the difference between the straight feel and the swing feel, okay? And the swing feel can also be called a 3 feel, a triplet shuffle, or even just a shuffle, okay? And we applied all of that newfound knowledge to some examples of shuffle moves and the vamps and vamps in the key of E and A. That's kind of what we did on this video. So there is some stuff here. If you've got the practice tracks, you can practice these various different things that it says here. And they're basically kind of plays on what we did here, just a little bit more extended. And the nice thing about practicing with the tracks is I don't show you the track that we're doing in the music. I just say something like, okay, E of key, open chord shuffle move with a swing feel and a 5-chord turnaround. So you got to think of that. What did he say? Key of E, okay, open chord shuffle move with a swing feel, a 5-chord turnaround. You got to know what that means, because that's what's going to happen when you're in a band situation. Nobody's going to go, let me show you this and explain it to you. They're just going to say, dude, it's got a 5-chord turnaround with a shuffle. Okay, and you're going to go, okay, I know what it is. What key was that? E? Okay. Depending on what we're doing now, this is a good time to put some of this stuff to a song. There are several different songs that I use in my method to teach some of these things and start to tie these things together. But if you're working with a private teacher, or if you're in the blues method, you might want to look up a couple of these songs. There's one called Good Morning Blues. It's good to do. Keep Your Hands to Yourself. Kind of Georgia Satellites type of version. That's kind of a cool one that uses some of these techniques that we've done. And then I also have a version of T-Bone Shuffle, which is a cool one, swing feel, and employs a lot of the techniques that we've used so far. So that is some stuff to keep in mind. Hang in there. You're starting to know some stuff. There's a lot more to come, a lot more stuff to the blues, but we are on our way right now. So work on this stuff and then move on with the next section. See you around on Trackers. Keep bluesing away. Take care.